welcome back to the channel. It's another one, and today we're gonna like full out straight pipe the Corvette. I'm kind of bored of the stock mufflers, and I don't feel like paying 650 bucks for like the cheapest Hooker Blackheart exhaust, which is basically from like this point they clamp on and then they just go up over the axle and have tips. $600 for that, and I don't feel like paying that, so we're gonna get rid of the stock mufflers. I've actually ran it when I put the headers on at first. I left the X pipe naked and I didn't run the secondary pipes after the X pipes, and it was just really obnoxious. I'm pretty sure it's going to be still obnoxious, but I won't have no pipes here and just X pipe where it's like dumping at the driver's seat. So we're gonna run over to Kevin's house, pull these pipes off, and get a cold start. Today, now that we've done the cold start, I'm gonna go pull the mufflers off over at Kevin's house, and I'm gonna run, I don't know if I'm gonna switch to the 3-inch outlet pipes. I probably will, and we're gonna see how much more I like it. Since we won't be dumping it from an X pipe anymore, we will be dumping it with turndowns, but for right now we're just gonna run the pipes off of the X pipe, which I haven't heard yet, so hopefully it's not that dramatic, but it was loud as hell last time. It sounded like a freaking NASCAR. And let's get to it. We'll do a little job on over at Kevin's house. Primarily so you can hear what the car sounds like with mufflers on it. Turndowns at the axle for the longest time now, so I wanted to do something different, change it up, keep it a little fresh with the car. So we're going to start out with taking the mufflers off, and then I'll probably try to find dumps online, because I'm sure they'd be cheaper there than having like a muffler shop do them. So we'll take it one step at a time. For now, we're going to pull these things out, and we're going to send the sound to the moon. More downshifts, and we'll leave it for pulling up to Kevin's house. I'll show you second gear. And we are done. I kind of wish I'd done a little bit more outside idle and rev of the Corvette with the mufflers on it in the driveway, but I forgot to do that. But it is a good bit louder. It's definitely not as bad as it was when I ran just open X pipe, which dumped basically at the cabin region of the vehicle. And now we're running from the X pipe, the pipes that connect to that would connect to the mufflers. We're now running those pipes, and we actually cut the turndowns off of the stock mufflers. So dark pretty quick last night, but to anybody who is concerned, to pull the mufflers out, even though the car was pretty high in the air, that bolt, that nut on the bottom, and that bolt and that nut on the bottom for the sway bar had to come undone. We left them, the sway bar attached to the end links, and just drooped it down, which came down to like right here, and the mufflers came right out. I was just gonna run the actual dumps right there onto the axle, but Kevin didn't like that, so we decided to take the pipes that went upward for the muffler and cut them off and then swap them out and do those as turn downs. So those came right off the mufflers, and we cut them off the stock piping. So now I'm running turn downs right there at the axle, and it sounds way better, and it's not throwing soot all over the bottom of the car, so to speak. He didn't really like the idea of just running exhaust all over the bottom side of the car. So we did end up doing the turn downs, and it sounds amazing. It sounds way better than it did for sure. And what I like is that at like cruising speed in 6th gear on the interstate or the highway doing like 60 to 70, you can barely tell that I got rid of the mufflers and went to turn downs. But like 2,000 RPM and above, it sounds way better, way guttier, way throatier, and it sounds like a Corvette to me. Now I was just kind of bored of the mufflers and I wanted some more loudness, and I wasn't really in the mood to just the cheapest axle back exhaust. I'm gonna do a cold start for you just because the cold start that you heard last night was up against the wall in here, which will ricochet the sound and make it sound meaner than it actually is. For a relevant comparison, if you didn't get enough of these stock mufflers, listen to when I pull the car out and put it in the driveway, because once it's out there, it's more realistic, and you can hear it in the background. And it's just not gutty. It's not throaty at all, because on the Grand Sport, unlike the Z06 and the Z01, it's a 2.5-inch catback, not a 3-inch. So I ran 1 7/8 headers to 3-inch X pipes, no cats anywhere at all, and then 3-inch pipes, well, a 3-inch to a 2.5-inch outlet to connect to the axle back system, in which the rest of the piping I showed you earlier in the video would complete a full 3-inch system if I got a 3-inch axle back and ditched the 2.5-inch axle back that was stock. And for the vacuum actuator lines, these, where they at? These go to your little valve bodies in your stock mufflers, which is kind of the stupidest thing I've ever seen. We heated these up, clamped them down so they're sealed shut, so we didn't have to throw a screw in it or anything. I wanted to remove it, but those go all the way to the back side of the intake manifold, which is hard to get to unless the intake manifold's off. So we just melted them and clamped them down, which I'm happy with. So I'm gonna give you a cold start now. That wasn't even 3,000 RPM. It sounds way better. It sounds way more raw. Here in a second, we're going to hit the street. Since I gave you driving experience leaving here and going to Kevin's house, we will go replicate that driving experience with the new exhaust mod for free in 2.5-inch turn down. So basically, again, it's 1 7/8 long tubes, no cats, to a 3-inch X pipe. From a 3-inch X pipe, it goes to my other pipes that would connect to the axle back. If those are 3 to a 2.5, so that the stock axle back could mate to it. actually pulls a lot harder, surprisingly. I didn't expect to notice a difference getting rid of the mufflers performance-wise, just because back pressure in some cases can be a good thing. Kevin believes, along with some portion of me, that getting rid of the back pressure is always good for VA. But after like 4,000 RPM before, the power band was kind of bland. I was already used to it. Last night, doing a third gear hit, it would seem like after 3,000 RPM, it just kept pulling harder and harder and harder. So, hands down, I love it better with the turndowns than I did prior, that's for sure. The mufflers were just getting kind of boring for me, and I'm glad we got rid of them and did the turndowns. No drone at all. Again, for free, overwhelmingly happy. I haven't really done many videos with the Corvette lately, so I figured it was time to start fiddling with something. Got to put the R888s on. Well, I hope you did like the video. Please consider subscribing. Keep in mind that is a free turn down exhaust done from the Sulzer cutting of stock mufflers. And I love it. I absolutely love it. Sounds really good. Hope this answered questions. If you got anything you want to ask, comment down below. Make sure you like the video. Get us out there with as much as I do from editing, directing, dialogue, anything, everything. I deserve to play the big wigs, I feel. So, yeah. See you next time. Thanks for watching. Doodoo.